My final topic is pretty straightforward and simple. I think that it's something that I shouldn't really have to talk about, but I guess we have to talk about it today. Nick Bosa is not getting enough love for the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. I'm talking about a guy that's leading the league in quarterback hits, quarterback pressures, and sacks. And I look at the Defensive Player of the Year conversation, nationally, and it feels like it's Micah Parsons, just Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons, to me, is maybe the best defensive player in the NFL. It's maybe him. I think that he's closest, the only player I've ever felt in Donald's prime that Donald might not be the best defensive player in the NFL. I mean, Micah Parsons is a top 5 off the ball linebacker in the NFL, and then he's maybe the best pass rusher in the NFL. The guy basically gets pressure every play he pass rushes. He's a phenomenal football player. But right now, I feel like Nick Bosa is having a better season than him. Nick Bosa could have very easily had 5 sacks yesterday. Matthew Stafford avoided a couple of very, very close calls with a little bit of clumsy athleticism, but athleticism nonetheless. He was able to avoid pressure. I mean, Bosa had 10 pressures yesterday, which is unheard of. 3 quarterback hits, 2 sacks that could have easily been 5. I really thought watching that game that was an iconic 49ers pass rush performance on primetime in my life. As you know and might remember, 10 years ago, Aldon Smith used to be delivering those. The first of which was the game against Pittsburgh on Monday night or on Sunday night. Yeah, it was on Monday night, actually, when Ben Roethlisberger came to San Francisco with the bum ankle and Aldon Smith abused Max Starks, and John Gruden and Ron Jaworski were saying after the game that Aldon Smith should be in the Hall of Fame. And then Aldon Smith also had that insane Monday night performance in Colin Kaepernick's first start, where he had 5.5 sacks against the Bears. To me, Aldon Smith, every primetime game just dominated and was the best player on the field and just showed out. That was the kind of performance I thought Nick Bosa put on Sunday night against Denver. And then I thought he played even better this week against the Rams. I mean, of course, it helps when, the Rams are starting Joe Noteboom and David Edwards, who have no chance at blocking Nick Bosa. But, Bosa's got to do what Bosa's got to do. I do think that we're a little premature here. I think we're ahead of the curve and getting ahead of this because I think Nick Bosa is going to have another great game the way he did against the Panthers, 3 years ago in 2019. That was the best game of Nick Bosa's career till now. The interception, the 3 sacks in the first half, he was kicking butt in that game. I think we're going to see a similar statement game from Bosa this week. I think this week the Niners are going to blow out the Panthers. I'm going to, preview that game a little bit more later in the week, probably stream on Friday or Saturday to talk about that. But the Panthers really have no shot against this 49ers defense. That's what I believe. If I'm wrong, I will eat a lot of crow about it. But unfortunately, from a schematic talent standpoint, I do not see how this Panthers offense is going to move the ball against the Niners defense. And so, I do think that next week we might be sitting here and Nick Bosa will be firmly entrenched in the middle of that Defensive Player of the Year conversation, coming off a 3-sack game against Carolina. But I think he should be there today. He's been the Niners' best player so far this season. He's been their MVP, as he is just about every single season. And I think that it's really, really fun to watch his career play out because we are seeing a Hall of Fame career and we're watching it unfold in front of us. He's been unreal in every single game he's played just about in his career. So I'm excited to see what happens with the rest of this season. And hopefully Nick Bosa does get that first All-Pro team appearance and the Defensive Player of the Year award.